Hello and welcome to Super Great Kids Stories, wise tales from storytellers around the world, which will make you laugh and sometimes cry. Recommended for ages 5 to 105. I'm Kim and I love stories. Hello, Super Great Kids. How are you? I'm happy because I get to go to Sweden in the north of Europe where it's all snowy, and we're going to go to some little mountains and drink hot chocolate and maybe go sledging, and we might even see some trolls. And Xin Nian Hao. That's Happy New Year in Chinese. And that is another reason to be cheerful. It's currently Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, and we have a Chinese story for you which explains some of the things you might see if you go to a Chinese New Year celebration. This is the oldest and most important festival that's celebrated by Chinese people all over the world. And our New Year story is about a terrifying monster called Nian. So, just before we start the story, I wonder if you've ever been to a Chinese New Year parade or festival. Or if you know what you might see if you were to visit a Chinese New Year parade. Here's a little clue. There are some large and rather terrifying looking animals or puppets which dance in the street. Now, do you know which animals they are? And what colour are the lanterns and clothes which people usually wear at Chinese New Year? So, have a little think about what you might see if you were to visit a Chinese New Year parade. Have a think about it while we have a quick chat with the grown-ups. Ready? Off you go. Super Great Kids Stories is now available on Story Button. It's a device that makes it easy for your kids to listen to our podcast without using a screen. Story Button connects to Wi-Fi so that all our episodes are automatically available. Visit storybutton.com and enter code SUPERGREAT10 at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Hello, Super Great Kids, I'm back. I wonder if you know what those animals are which parade through the streets for Chinese New Year. If you guessed dragons or lions, you'd be right. And the colour which is worn a lot at New Year and which you see in all the streets is red. That's right. People light red lanterns and they hang decorations which are all red in the streets, and they wear red, and they let off fireworks, and they also bang drums too. Well done if you already knew some of that. You might be lucky enough to live in a city where the Chinese residents organise a parade through the streets. Now, I'm going to tell you a story from China which explains why all of those things happen at New Year. Are you sitting comfortably? Am I sitting comfortably? Then let the monster jump out. Long, long ago in China, when chickens had teeth and pigs had wings, there lived a ferocious sea monster called Nian. Some say this monster looked like a dragon, with jagged yellow teeth, sharp horns, and a green and black scaly body. Others say Nian had the body of a lion, with a mane, powerful claws, and a jagged tail which he used like a whip. This was such a long time ago that we're no longer quite sure which of these is true. But I'm sorry to have to tell you, one thing that is certain is that Nian's favourite food was not little fish, which he sucked through his jaws, and it wasn't crabs, which he elegantly crunched like crisps, and it wasn't even jellyfish, which he slurped down like a delicate soup. No, Nian's favourite food was You've guessed it, people, particularly plump, juicy children, which he gulped down by the dozen. Now, Nian spent most of his days hibernating in the smelly, slimy mud at the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean. But every New Year's Eve, he'd wake up, starving hungry and ready to devour an entire schoolroom of children. Then he'd roam along the coast, flipping along on his webby paws, shloop, shloop, shloopity shloop. And he'd eat a field full of pigs here, a hut full of chickens there, and even the occasional unfortunate walker who was just out for a gentle stroll. And if he happened upon a school at playtime, oh, calamity! He'd utter a contented roar, open his mouth wide, 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 and polish off the lot, teachers and all. Now, a few brave warriors did try to gather together a small army to fight Nian, but they were out of luck. With a single lash of his tail, Nian swiped hundreds of men into the sea. And so it went on. The tragic stories of those who tried to fight Nian and had themselves been eaten were shared up and down the coast. Families stopped going to the beach to play, and every New Year's Eve all the people of the coast would lock their doors, board up their windows, and retreat to hide in the mountains, scurrying as far away from the sea as possible. Well, the months passed, and the years passed, until one New Year, an old man with a happy face and a long grey beard walked slowly into the village. He watched curiously as the villagers boarded up their windows and loaded belongings onto carts. "You must get to the mountains and hide," they warned the old man. "Nian, the monster from the sea, is coming. He arrives on the last night of the year and eats anyone he finds. He'll eat you too. Come with us to the mountains." But the old man just smiled and bowed. "Oh, thank you very much for your kind warning, but I'll be fine." "You won't, you won't, you won't," said one old woman. "Why are you old men so stubborn? Please, if you won't come with us, then take shelter in my house. Here's the key. Lock the door and do not open it until the sun is shining once again on New Year's Day." "Thank you," said the man, bowing deeply. "As you have helped me, so I will help you. I will protect your whole village." "Oh, that's very kind of you," said the old woman, "but it's just impossible. Many younger and fitter than you have tried. This monster is enormous and terrifying. He'll swallow you like a penny chew, and that'll be you gone in one fishy belch." "Are you sure you won't come with us?" said the old woman. "You can share my food." But the old man just smiled and waved. "I'll be fine. And so will your houses. I know that this monster has a weakness, and he's about to get a nasty surprise." The people waved goodbye and hurried towards the mountains, shaking their heads. And in the village, the old man set to work. First, he cut down a large bundle of bamboo sticks and placed them in piles around the village square. Next, he cut some logs, and then he found some red paint and painted all the houses. He made lots of red paper lanterns and wrote little poems and riddles on them. And he threaded them down the streets where they bobbed merrily in the breeze. Then he dragged all the pots and pans and cans that he could find into the centre of the village next to the bamboo sticks and the logs. Finally, as the sun slipped from the sky, he moved from one pile of bamboo sticks to another, lighting them and singing a little monster song as he worked. I'm not afraid of you. I'm a wise old man and I know what to do. Ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo. Can you sing that? I'm not afraid of you. I'm a wise old man and I know what to do. Ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo. Just then the monster came, bellowing and snorting into the village. Slip, slap, slippity, slap went his webbed feet as he came along the stone path. He sniffed the breeze and, he licked his lips and sprang off in the direction of his favourite food, people. Suddenly, the flames caught on the breeze and crackled and snapped and popped, dancing up, up, up and high into the night sky. Nian froze and glared. This wasn't how it usually was. He yawned in puzzlement and lowered his horns, about to charge towards the doorway where the old man was watching. At that second, ear-splitting pops and crackles retorted out of the burning bamboo pile. It sounded like gunshots. The monster rubbed his eyes with his paws and shook his ears like a wet dog. When he looked again, he spotted the old grey-beard man dressed in red and banging saucepans and lids with all the strength he could muster. This was all too much for the cowardly monster. He shook, he turned tail, and he fled along the beach on his webby paws. Shloop, shloop, shloopity shloop, 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 shloopity shloop. And then he retreated all the way back to the depths of the sea, where he felt safe. And there he stayed, shaking and trembling. And as far as I know, he's still there to this very day. And as for the villagers, when they crept back into the village on New Year's Day, well, they were most surprised to find that their village was untouched. Nobody eaten, nobody lost, no damaged houses, and all around the village square were bright red lanterns bobbing in the breeze, with a popping, crackling fire in the centre. Then the old woman who tried to warn the old man spotted him sitting on her doorstep. "You did it!" she shouted. "You did as you promised and protected our homes and our people. Hurrah!" shouted the villagers. "3 cheers for the old man!" And they picked him up on their shoulders and ran round and round the square with him. "But I don't understand," said the old woman. "How did you defeat that old sea monster when so many before you failed?" "Ah, it's quite simple when you know what to do," he said, laughing at her surprise. "I knew the secret of that monster's weakness. So I put red everywhere, and I lit lots of bonfires, and I made loud noises. Nothing you can't do yourself now that you know his weakness too." The people cheered once again, and they all ran off to put on their best clothes and pay a visit to their relatives to share the good news. And as they went, they sang, "We're not afraid of you. We're very clever and we know what to do. Ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo." And that is how the people of the coast learned to scare away Nian the monster. And that is why, to this very day, on the last day of the lunar year, people still dress in red, put up lanterns, set off firecrackers, bang drums, and stay up very late to keep Nian the sea monster away. Snort, snort, pout, pout. That story just ran out. Thank you for listening to that story. Chinese New Year lasts for 15 days, so you still have time to catch a parade with a dragon or a lion or lots of lanterns in it. The Festival of Lamps is on February the 24th. More fun facts about Chinese New Year in our Owlet letter for subscribers. If you like that story, or if you're a dragon fan, you might like to listen to the 4 dragons or to the Green Dragon and the Little Red Rooster. And did you know that each Chinese year is named after one of 12 animals? And this year, do you know which animal it is? Yes, it's the year of the dragon. Dragons in China are thought of as strong and good leaders who bring good luck. And some people from China think that babies who are born in this year, the year of the dragon or dragon babies, are very special people. And they'll be good leaders, and they'll be very clever, and they'll bring good luck to the family. So, lots of families from China want to have dragon babies this next 12 months. Now, lots of you have joined our Owlets Club, so it's time to dip into our bag of happies and say thank you and hello to some new owlets. And hello to Daisy, who recently turned 7, and to her sister Lila from East Sussex in the UK. Their favourites are eggshell soup and Tianjie and the Yellow Dress. Becoming an owlet was Daisy's birthday present from her big sister. Oh, what a great big sister you've got, Daisy. Over to North Carolina in the US now, and and hello to Everly and Lennon. Everly is 8 and loves a Nancy and the hot pepper soup. Lennon is 5 and loves all the Baba Yaga stories. And hello to 4-year-old Lee in California. His favourite stories at the moment are Molly and the Skeleton and Baba Yaga. Go for it, Lee. You're very brave. Hello now to 6-year-old Alex, who was born in Manchester in the UK, and to 5-year-old Sophia, who was born in Gdansk in Poland. They're now living in the beautiful Polish countryside and enjoying listening to all of the stories, especially the scary ones. Alex's favourite is How the Snakes Got Their Poison, and Sophia enjoyed the tale about the Sea Witch. Very brave. Hello to 5-year-old Lyra, who lives in Burien in Washington State in the US. Her favourite stories are The Magic Drum and How the River Shannon Came to Be. Good choices, Lyra. Over to Denver in Colorado now, and hello to new owlet Jonas, who is 7. His favourite story is A Nancy and Tiger Fat. He listens every day. Wow, Jonas, just think what a great vocabulary you must have listening to all those stories. Back to the UK now to Tring in Hertfordshire, and hello to Harry, who is about to turn 6. What a lovely age. And hello to Joey, who is 4. They both really like Mama Draga and Finn McCool. And Joey really likes the slightly scary story, The Velvet Ribbon. Across to Germany now to Berlin to say a big hello and welcome to Kira Emily, who turns 6 this week. Welcome to the club, Emily, and enjoy being 6. And hello to Elowin, who is 8, and Orin, who is 4. Elowin's favourite is Nancy and the Hot Pepper Soup. She loves the song. And Orin's favourite is How the Leopard Got His Spots. And welcome to the club, all of you. More welcomes next week. And now, for my Pick of the Week picture. Lots of you have been sending really creative and thoughtful pictures for Story Owl to post on our Facebook page. We've had 2 pictures sent in by Mavis, who is 5, and Lucinda, who is 8, from Baltimore in Maryland in the US. Mavis has drawn a fun and energetic picture inspired by Baba Yaga and Little Brother. I can see that you've listened really carefully to the story and have included lots of the characters, including Baba Yaga with a long green nose, and the cat and the golden apples and the sister combing Baba Yaga's hair. Yuck. Very nicely done, thank you. And Lucinda has drawn a beautiful picture of Kia and the purple fish, where you can see Kia down by the lake surrounded by little pebbles, and the purple fish which is preparing to swallow her and take her down under the water and feed her milk and honey and fruit from the trees. 2 lovely drawings. Thanks very much for sharing them. More Owlet welcomes next week. And thanks to all of you who are subscribing to our podcast. If you subscribe on Patreon, the lowest tier is £3 a month, less than $4. If you'd like to join our club on Apple Podcasts or on Patreon, you'll hear our stories advert-free. And if you pay for the next tier up, you'll get advert-free plus over 35 bonus stories and at least 20 super great scary stories. For more info, go to our new look website at supergreatkidsstories.com. That's it for this week. Hope you have a happy Chinese New Year if you're celebrating. This podcast was produced at Wardour Studios in fabulous Fitzrovia in London.